culture that we love so much. And all the way from Phoenix, I'm so excited to have with us DJ and producer Steve Madera. What's happening?
Good evening. How's it going?
It's going really good. So good to have you. And hey, with everything that's going on in this crazy world around the globe, how are you amidst COVID, amidst supply shortages, amidst a crazy world of politics and everything else? How are you?
Dude, I live in Arizona. You already know the reputation we have out here. And I am surrounded by it. I am not part of it, but this is a very, very strange place to be a part of during a worldwide pandemic where the people who live here believe it's like you're going to get a vaccine microchip and it'll turn your body in weird ways. Where it's like, hello, this affects the whole world, not just Arizona. So I think that sums it up in a nutshell. It's very difficult to try to cope with reality where so many people try to go to an alternate reality and believe stuff that's totally not true. I mean, that could be debatable. That's for another show, another time. But I'm healthy. I'm staying safe. I'm doing my part. I had it in the beginning of the year. It is terrible. It is like they say, you don't want it. And anybody, I'll tell you, since you asked, anybody who says, well, it's no worse than the flu, who the heck wants the flu? I mean, seriously, do you know anyone who's ever said, "Oh, I hope I get the flu"? No,
Right.
it's awful. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah. I
brutal.
think
It's
sometimes these things bring out some really crazy statements and thought processes, but I'm glad to hear that you're well and healthy. Tell the audience a little bit about you. You're out there in Arizona, but where are you originally from? How'd you get into house music, DJing, and everything?
wow. That's so many questions and so much to tell. My name is Steve Madera. I'm originally from the San Francisco Bay Area. Was part of that house music scene for a while. Before house music, just DJing alone, it began with hip hop and R&B and true, soul music, and at the time underground East Coast music. And then I fell in love with the way hip hop artists were sampling old '70s beats. Those same type of foundations were what were creating house music, so to say, with a lot of true instrumentation, such as keys, bongos, congos, saxophones, clarinets, guitars, you name it, not just sampling. And the love affair began, like I said, in probably the early '90s. Not going to give away my age right now, but the early '90s. And yeah, ever since then, I've been a true house head. There have been times where the industry turned me off. There have been times where the industry has been nothing but a love affair. Um, I can be more specific as you ask, and I'm kind of not sure where to go with this question because there's just so much to tell. But I got the
I
time if
hear
you
you.
do.
I, I hear you. I hear you. So now you started DJing, and then you said you moved out of hip hop and you really got into house. Now, how long have you been DJing there in the Phoenix area? And are you part of the virtual craze, or have you been doing live events?
Okay, so a couple parts of that question there. Been DJing since 1992, and an interesting story behind that, since I guess it is story time. That began. I was the dude straight up. Well, listening to the hip hop show on a local San Francisco radio station, understanding what they're doing while mixing. I had, and we all had them. You guys are all lying if you say you didn't have them. I had one of those 1980s stereos that was like this big. It was like fake stacked. You had the tape player, the radio, the wannabe CD player, the turntable on top, and the speakers that were just these oversized speakers that you put on parts of your room. And with the tape decks, I would take cassette tapes. This is old school. Before, a lot of you are probably think, "What's a tape?" Hey, Google, "What's a tape?" I would take tape singles of hip hop songs and play one in one deck, then stop it and then play one in the other and try to mix, and then use the turntable to scratch, and straight up. And I did this for a while at parties, believe it or not, just young parties, like garage parties and whatnot. Not garage music, but just in people's garages or backyards. I'm 14, 15 years old at the time. And I finally got my set of first decks that were free. One of them was a 1200 that was broken, and one of them was a belt driven turntable. And I went out and started
Wow.
buying vinyl and just started practicing with it. A realistic mixer, the Radio Shack brand. I know you probably remember all this equipment, you know.
Don't we all?
And Yeah, I just started with hip hop, but as as it turned out, the even though the music in hip hop is or at the time was dope and it was very cultural and it was very influential to where the industry has gone. It also attracted a different dynamic of crowd when we would be out at parties, just people wanting to start trouble. I guess it's in every type of music, but I got tired of it and fell in love with house music. Not to change the genre, but I understood, I understood what house music was, but I didn't want to be part of a scene where I could get shot at a party for trying to express my art. I would rather practice, okay, you know what? I'll be weird. I'll be odd. I'll be different. I'll play different, where people would say, what's house music? And that's what I began to do. And I chased it. I forgive me for rambling, please.
No, no, this is hey man, that's a good combo. And why do starting off house back there in the '90s? Why do you think it's prevailed? Why do you think it's been so explosive around the world this many years later?
There are two parts of that question. I'm going to answer them both. There's two answers rather to that question. I'll answer them as much as I perceive it. The first reason is the feeling involved. The same feeling when you play a new record and you get, your arm hairs stand up and you get the feels. A lot of people chase that like a drug, and that's what they're looking for. And that to them is popular. It's better than hearing a song on the radio that's been played out 50,000 times in the last 3 hours. It's better than a song on Spotify that just got released that everyone think is hot. The second part of that answer is because half the people who don't understand it and are in it for the wrong reasons are chasing it. They're saying, oh, I can be a DJ. I can play house because it's cool. Think of the Arizona example I gave earlier here. A lot of people just follow that trend because it seems cool. If the people they're hanging out with believe in that, then they're going to believe in it. If people think house music is going to give them a quick, easy path to superstardom, they're going to follow it for the wrong reasons. So I believe both those answers are absolutely correct, and I believe both those are the reasons why the industry has taken off, especially since the pandemic.
Yeah, I tell you, we're going to talk a little bit about that later, but that's really interesting. The first one we get all the time. It's spiritual, it's a feeling, it's a movement, and it's infectious. But the other part is very interesting. That's a very interesting perspective that you bring to that conversation. As a DJ, as you're getting started, who are some of your influences then, and who do you kind of look up to now?
Great question. Love to tell you about it. Um, so that begins with the transition from hip hop to house. I remember it was 1997. So, I mean, we're talking 23, 24, almost 25 years ago. And I was super young, getting off work late at night, worked a very late night job. And we're in my buddy's car. And he has house music playing on the radio. And I'm like, dude, how did you find this? Who's playing this? He's like, oh, it's KMEL. This is Yo Mama's house. I was like, what did you say about my mama? He's like, no, it's Yo Mama's house. This is Foxy Brown. This is his show. And I'm like, wow. The DJs were David Harness of the San Francisco Bay Area, Pete Avila, Patrick Wilson of Elements Oakland, and every single one of them, every single record was absolutely amazing. It took me away. I couldn't wait to get home. Too young to get in the club without a fake ID at that point, and just zone out and listen to the art that they're sharing on the radio. That at the time, Clear Channel Media is allowing to be broadcast in a world now dominated by hip hop and R&B on the mainstream radio. It was super special. It was super influential, and that inspired me to become a better house music DJ. And I said, you know what? Let me send them a mixtape. What can hurt? Couldn't hurt to send him a mixtape. I got a call back from Foxy Brown. He's like, at the time my name was DJ DVS, the hip hop DJ. He says, I want you to come on the show. I want you to show us what you can do. I was like blown away. Like, what? No way. No way. We never got to that point because in the time leading up to me being a guest on the show, Clear Channel Media decided to make it the station of the most hip hop and R&B. So 2 or 3 days after they did that, I'm hanging out there and I'm making friends with them. And I'm recording at the time. These are old school times, man, a digital audio tape. I'm recording with that in the studio. Because if I couldn't play for the San Francisco Bay Area, at least I could practice on their equipment with my records and just zone out, till he got off work and we go have a late night dinner. And one night, you see the phones lighting up, and my friend comes in. His name's JoJo. He's like, dude, you're killing it. I'm like, you've been here a minute. He's like, dude, it's not what I think. It's what the Bay thinks. I was like, what? The Foxy Brown gave a big FU to Clear Channel Media by saying, you know what? This kid's hot. He's doing his thing right now. I'm going to put him on. And for over an hour and a half, I was live, unbeknownst to me, unbeknownst to me. And it was great. It was a wonderful thing because people recognize, like that moment, what had happened. And from then on there, I followed the DJs, David Harness, especially. You asked my influence, number one influence, David Harness, Tony Humphries, Pete Vita, Patrick Wilson. I'd start going to his parties. I start being a part of the scene, understanding like why he is playing the records he is and not just playing the records to play them. Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes a heck of a lot of sense. It's one thing I say to the audience all the time is that being a DJ is a job. It's a skill. The job of the DJ is to curate the groove and incite the dance. You've got to bring the groove and you got to get those people on the floor. You got to get them moving, dancing, engaging with you, shouting, screaming, going crazy, and never stop until you decide you want to let them go. And that is to your point. Why are you playing the record? Why are you at that BPM level at this time of night or whatever it could be? What's your approach? There's so much to it. And you have to know your music. It's not just, oh, I'm going to play a record. You got to know that record. You got to know the beginning, middle, end, where the breaks are, how long that break is to be a good DJ. Right? Obviously, you can just play some records. But to your point, it's a skill. Absolutely.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And, I'm sure you have a lot of pros on this show. Many of them won't be honest about their misgivings. I will bring up two that hopefully the rest of you can learn from. With what you just said, it reminded me of how quickly from those mixtapes at KMEL and just starting to go to the parties, how I began to network and link up and get gigs and play out, and how quickly arrogance took over, which is a trait long gone. But I will tell all you newcomers out there listening, this is important and pay attention, please, because nobody is above humility and nobody is above mistake. So as you mentioned the dance floor, God, this is embarrassing. There was a party in Sunnyvale, California, a well-known party called Clairvoyance. They did a monthly. It was huge. It was packed. It was cracking. I gave them a mixtape. They're like, dude, you're going to be the headliner. I'm like, wow, a headlining gig. This is pretty dope. So I go in there thinking, I'm by myself. Smoked a blunt on the way in, thinking, okay, I'm the man. They're gonna do what I say, not understanding the art of the program and the art of following a dance floor. Didn't understand it. Did not understand it. I knew how to mix. I knew how to have good song selection, but I did not understand the art of rocking a dance floor. Therefore, here's what happened. We can see where this is going, and it sucks. Record number one. They're all around me. It's probably 200-300 people on the dance floor. It's a Louis Vega tribal track. I actually have the record up here. I can pull it out. I'm looking at it right here, as a matter of fact. Right here. The Tribal Roots EP. First record. And it's got the people bumping and moving. See, I know my music and I know where it's at,
Dewey Decimal System.
Second track. I'm like, okay, I got him. I play Stacy Kidd, I Wanted You out of Chicago. I also got the 12-inch. Different vibe from that tribal track, but the people were still, okay, this is cool. Third track. It was a horrible track. I don't even know. I think it's called The Money Shot. My friend's like, well, it's not a bad record. Instantly, I watched a floor of 200 people completely clear out to one or two and go down to the room downstairs that was the second room. And
no.
I will never forget that. It didn't cost me my career. It's not like a Michael Richards a moment from Seinfeld where he was the career is completely over. This is just a learning experience where it's like, you know what, you can't do that. So ever since then, I took it as a lesson learned, and I really have of utmost importance to me. I'm very, very hard on myself when it comes to the way I work the dance floor, the way I curate the mix, the vibe that I create. And without being confident, or without being arrogant for lack of better words, there's a huge lesson learned here. The lesson is you as a DJ out there, you can read the dance floor, but if you chase the vibe, it may go away. If you mistake the vibe, it may go away. If you are confident enough, like the director of a movie, okay, to say the product I'm putting down is going to make them dance, you had better make sure that you are absolutely on it with your programming, your mixing, and your song selection, knowing the portions of the songs, knowing the breaks. Kind of like when you go to a movie. If right now I said, "Hey Derek, go watch this movie," you're like, "Well, I haven't heard of it." And you go watch it. You're like, "Okay, we'll give it a shot." You're going to get feelings of emotion in that movie theater. That director did a good job. You'll hear the whole theater. If the whole theater laughs at the same part, he did his job. He was gambling that this part in this movie is going to make this audience laugh. This part in this movie is going to make you sit on the edge of your seat. This part in this movie is going to make you, cry. That's what we're doing with music. We're playing stuff you've never heard. If we do it correctly, it's going to work. You are going to dance. If we don't do it correctly and we chase the floor, that dovetails down a different path or road of DJ, as I like to call it. And this may be controversial, what I'm saying. I'm curious your thoughts on that mantra I just mentioned.
Man, that's a master class. Welcome to House Culture Conversations, everybody. I'm with Steve Madera, and he is breaking it down. He's not only telling us stories about back in the day, but he's giving us some advice as DJs out there how to curate the groove and incite the dance. And I couldn't agree more. I've had those tragedies, even now in the virtual world with the technology. I've had the music just stop on me. I've grabbed the wrong plate, it's just, and like, oh, wrong deck. Okay. You do those things and you can see an immediate change. The crowd is not very forgiving. They're either with you or they're not. As soon as you make that wrong move, so I've learned a lot about what you're talking about, and that's where the skill comes in. Now, the good thing about crowds is that you can recover. To your point, they'll remember that moment, but if you come back very quickly with some grooves and get it back flowing, they'll get back on that floor and say, okay, 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 that's one. You got one strike, but you're doing good. Because the music is the answer, right? I like what you said about don't chase the dance floor. Don't try to chase that. The music is the answer. And if you've curated a good set, you're going to do it. What do you think about this? Now, this is one thing I've noticed is that if I'm going down a path, sometimes I get a little iffy on what I've curated. And sometimes I'll try to pivot, try to kind of feel the crowd a little bit. One of the things the DJ told me, he was like, sometimes you got to you can feel it. Don't get all in your head like I'm gonna hit him with this, then I'm gonna hit him with that, then I'm gonna hit him there. Sometimes you got to feel that crowd and really join in what's happening.
It's funny you mentioned that. And again, it could be a controversial conversation. I'm hoping this goes viral, and I hope it sparks a massive debate because you'll have your wedding DJs who will do that. They will chase the vibe. Every single song they're chasing it. Or in a hip hop club. I don't know the last time I've been on a hip hop club, but they're trying to throw at them. They're trying to force the feeling, okay? If I'm by myself, and forgive me, my communication skills aren't the greatest with what I'm trying to, convey, but let's see if
You're
I get it
doing
right.
fantastic.
If I'm listening, if I'm searching for music and I'm listening on, my sources, TrackSource, Beatport, SoundCloud, Mixcloud, and the song gives me a feeling, I go back to that same thing a director did. He's attempting to create a feeling for the crowd. That's what motion pictures are. They are art that people spend $5,765 for a small popcorn and a large soda to go to go watch. Okay, the director is behind it. Us as DJs, we are the directors. Us as producers, we are the directors. When that song makes me feel a certain way compared to the last 30 or 40 songs, then that is a song I would want to incorporate in my set. Where it belongs in the set is different. But now imagine if we have a set full of those arm hair songs. And I truly believe that is the only time where you can be a little bit complacent and say, I'm gambling. Right now I'm in Vegas and I'm gambling on the fact that if it created this feeling for me and my wife and my friend and my neighbor, I'm willing to bet it's going to create that feeling for the audience, be it virtual or on the dance floor. And I've seen it. I've seen it in person where, like people like, I'll name drop, like David Harness. You go to his party, he would play stuff you had never heard, but every single track, you're like, my God, where does he get this music? It's absolutely amazing. It is fantastic. At that point, you don't have to read the dance floor because the dance floor is so organic, vibing naturally off the art that you have created initially, if that makes any sense.
Oh, it
Versus,
makes a lot of sense. Now, DJ Dewey B would absolutely agree 100%. He'd be on board with that. That's how he rolls. It's definitely a value as a DJ that he espouses very closely. And I think that's a very mature, seasoned professional gets that.
oh yeah, and the advice I often give to guests on our channel is quite simply, and it's hard. We're only human, okay? We're only human. It's hard to practice this. But as DJs, we're doing it for the love. We're doing it for the art. We're doing it for the feels. But when you
Yeah.
see your number count of viewers go from 30 or 40 down to 5 or 5 to 30 or 40, you will react. The trick is, and I tell people because I've seen it 100 times, where they get bummed out or they beat themselves up because the numbers went down. Number one, we don't know what's happening on the other side of this equipment, but I know what's happening here. I know what's in my control right here. And if I'm still having a good time and I'm still having fun without making it about me, and that's the gray area I'm not trying to, contradict where I say, you got the guys who read the dance floor versus the guys who create the vibe.
Yeah.
I'm still putting trust in, you know what? They left. It can't be because of the music. And if 99.9% of the time, like you're a restaurateur, you're selling burritos on the corner, and everybody comes up and says, "Dude, I love your burritos. These are amazing. You need to start a restaurant." But then the business tones down. That's not because your food sucks. Everyone told you your food is really good. It's just as circumstantial. So I always tell our guests, don't worry about the numbers. You worry about the numbers, you're going to drive yourselves crazy. You're going to
Yeah.
be the wedding DJ chasing the dance floor, and you're going to go round and round in circles.
Yeah.
Just
That's, oh my
do
gosh.
you.
That's great advice. What do you think about the whole virtual world that we're in right now? There's so many DJs, there's so much music out there, but there's great access. I mean, you and I are enjoying this conversation because of the new world that's been created virtually.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. There are such strong feelings regarding this world because, and we'll get into my channel later. You talk about that stuff later. This allows so many people to express their art when before they were afraid to, when before they were afraid to say, well, I play on an internet radio station, and a club owner would say, "Oh, I've never heard of you. I own a club." Da 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 da. Now it's become popular. Again, a lot of people may be in it for the wrong reasons, and I'm not calling them out. I'm just telling it how it is, whether or not you guys wish to agree or disagree. That's why we can have a debate. I think it's wonderful that people who were afraid to show off, people who were introverts, are now able to express what they do. And I got to tell you, there are so many unacknowledged, unrecognized, deserving hidden gems in the world of online streaming. It is absolutely incredible. I have created a channel consisting of exactly what I just said, which is something that blows my mind. We are going to get people in it for the wrong reasons. They're in it for the stardom. They just released the other day. I guess it was some news article posted. There was a Twitch hack. I think we all heard about it. If we use Twitch, and I'm using that as an example because that's where I'm from. A lot of people's personal information got exposed. Some of these top earners, I believe this is somebody who plays a video game. For those of you who don't know, and I don't understand it, but I get it, I guess. Twitch was originally designed for people who want to watch others play a video game. When I was growing up, I wanted to play the game. I didn't want to watch, but I guess now there's millions of dollars to be made on watching somebody play a video game. And this kid, he making millions just having a channel where people watch him play and they comment. DJs have found out that Twitch is a great place to stream. We can do it, and Twitch is allowing us to do it because of their copyright provisions and statute of limitations, so to say. There's still gray areas that need to be worked out, but it's allowed so many people to shine. You know, again, some for the wrong reasons, many for the right, and those in it for the art. We are finding them, and I'm absolutely loving it. It's mind-boggling to me.
Oh man, I tell you, I couldn't agree more. So, talk a little bit about your station and about your virtual presence in the world of Twitch and streaming music.
Yeah, that's a great question, and thank you for allowing me to plug it. During the beginning of the pandemic, it's gonna be a long story here, but I'll tell it like it is. Um, Pre-pandemic, I had an internet show that I was on called soundsradio.com. Check him out. The guy who runs it, Everett, out of Baltimore, dope dude, super humble, super down to earth. The collection of DJs he has on that station is incredible, and I'm super humbled to be a part of it. Once the pandemic hit, and within 2 or 3 weeks of the pandemic, everybody on Facebook is live streaming, and I mean everybody. Of course, I wanted to be a part of it. Who wouldn't? I know you did. I know everybody did, because that's what everybody was doing. We had nothing else to do except, all right, well, let's let everyone figure this thing out. Let's play music. So started doing it, and again, humbled. Where you go in, you think we're gonna have a big turnout. I had 4 people every time I went on the Steve Madera Twitch channel. 4 people. That's it. But they were there every week. And that's important for you DJs starting out, because never, ever forget your roots. Don't do that. Pay homage to those who have sat there in a world of TikTok where after 20 seconds people are bored and they go to the next one, where they'll sit there for 3 or 4 hours and listen to you. That is a gift in of itself. Do not forget that. Do not take that for granted. The second you take that for granted, um, you've lost it. And it's not about you. It's about the whole as a system, the
Exactly.
listeners, the viewers. So I had 4 people on the Steve Madera channel, and one of my friends says, "Hey, check this channel out." I check out another channel. I'm not going to say their name. Um, I go say, "Hey, how can I be a part of this channel?" They let me be a part of it. Played there, plenty of viewers, 50 to 250 at times. Super fun, super great. And I said, you know what? What they've done, I can do. Let's do it. The name of my show was Depths of the Underground. The name of my show on soundsradio.com was Depths of the Underground. As much as I hated to start over with a good following, I said, we're starting from scratch. We're going to have a Depths of the Underground channel. We're going to invite DJs who are not the superstars, who are not the arrogant DJs, who are the humble DJs who have 1 or 2 viewers every time, who are playing like fire, and they're just waiting for that moment to be recognized. They're not trying to be turned off by, and I know it sounds like I have a little bit of rage here. Please forgive me. They're not turned off by the nightclub owner who keeps telling them no, even though they have such a wonderful gift to offer. I said, that's what I'm going to do. And that's what I did. The channel's called Depths of the Underground. I would purposely avoid looking at channels like Alan King, great DJ, for the chosen few, 200-300 viewers. That's not the DJ I need on Depths of the Underground. I need the guy that no one's ever heard of. We had a guy named Dave Tata. This is important. I found this guy. He's got 2 viewers, and he's playing like Louis Vega. I kid you not. So I text one of my partners on the channel, and I says, hey, check this guy out. So now he's got 3 viewers. And I type in the chat, I says, hey, man, I'm going to bring 2 more people over here. Do you mind? His face lit up like it was Christmas. He's like, oh, my God. Now he starts to get pressure. He's got 5 viewers. And he's like, dude, I'm so glad. Thank you guys for showing up. We're watching him for 20 or 30 minutes. We're happy. I message him. I says, I'd love for you to be a guest. He's like, great. And then it happened, because we get that moment that you DJs are yearning for. He had it. And he says, hey, man, do you guys mind if I change it up a little bit? And my buddy, my other partner on the channel, Paulo, texts me. He says, what the hell does that mean? Is he going to start playing jungle? A minute later, he starts playing jungle. We're like, no. He was a guest on our channel many, many times, though, and it was absolutely wonderful. And every one of the DJs on our channel is exactly that. I don't want to sit here and sound like, some self-centered guy talking about his channel, I want to tell you that what I have created is like a box of chocolate. It's all chocolate. It's just different. And you may have not even known that one exists. Like right now, if I say, here, grab one, and you just grab it, you don't know what's going to be in it. But you know it's going to be good. It's going to be sweet. It might be one you don't like. But our goal on Depth City Underground is to allow these unacknowledged, unrecognized DJs a place to shine, a place to seek refuge, a place to express their art without being judged or ridiculed or what's the word I'm looking for? Rejected from nightclub owners, radio stations. And I will tell you what, our channel, we are not the biggest, far from it. But I truly, from the bottom of my heart, believe in the product that we offer, the viewers, the audience, and the people giving us their dedicated time is absolutely quality. And we get that feedback a lot from people. Hence, you asking me to, do an interview here. Every DJ that we have, I could not be more pleased with what they provide, and I'm going to pay homage to each one of them in a moment. And I hope that Depths of the Underground is a stepping stone for bigger things for them. If they get gigs in other nations, if they get gigs on other channels, forgive me, great. That's what I want. I don't want people on Depths of the Underground who are going to use it as a stepping stone for self-centered stardom and forget about the team concept. Remember the whole, the audience and the DJ, the dancer, we're all part of a team, and it has to work together. Does it make
That's
sense what I'm
awesome.
saying without
Oh
rambling?
man, that's absolutely awesome. Hey, go ahead and plug your team, and then I want to ask you one final question before we wrap up. This is incredible, and I appreciate you taking the time to do this interview because there's just so many hidden gems here. There's education for DJs, and there's a story and what your background, and then this thing that you're doing over there at Depths of the Underground is truly awesome because so many DJs out there are deserving for a place to shine. And to your point, there's a lot of great DJs out there that have their platform, and you've created a space where those that desire to build their place, and maybe they got two people, but that's okay. They're out there rocking and doing their thing. I think that's pretty cool. Go ahead, shout out your crew.
Yeah, and it's just, this is important to know too. Those of you starting out, please understand and realize, please, I beg of you, it's not always going to be yes answers. Your product may not be enjoyed by everybody. Just you have got to realize that going in, and just know that just because I may not approve of what your art form is on the decks doesn't mean another channel will. Keep striving and keep pushing, because we've had DJs hit us up for the wrong reasons. You can tell right away who they are. And I say, I'll vet you. And they're like, oh, you don't have to vet me. I'm a pro. Really, dude? Okay, we're going to vet you anyway before I put you on our channel. And we do, and half the time we're like, this isn't what we're looking for. It's nothing personal. You guys out there learning, you are going to have rejection. You are going to hit
Yeah,
road bumps. But remember, rise above it if you stay true to the music and stay true to the art. The second you start chasing it and say, oh, the Britney Spears song is hot, I'm going to play that, you're going down a different path, and that may be the path for you, but you have to find what it means to go down that path, if that makes sense. So, having said that,
absolutely.
um, Depths of the Underground consist of, we have at first we were doing the guest DJ thing all the time, and we're still looking for them. Somebody who can have strong stream game, a wonderful collection of music. You're creating feelings. You understand what it is that is house music, what it is to be a house music DJ, and create a vibe. Um, all the DJs on Depths of the Underground now are established, and although we still have guests, they are the sound. Like if you say, I don't know, Nas, everyone knows what the
Yeah,
Nas sound is like, or Biggie, or Tupac. We all know the sound. And house music, we know the Tony Humphrey sound. We know the Louis Vega sound. I would like to think the Depths of the Underground, we have our sound. And that sound consists of Jacob Rodriguez of House of Vibes Los Angeles, Solstice Music, underneath the umbrella of Mark DeMio. I met him through another channel. Nicest guy you will ever meet in your life. And every Friday he had his own show called Los Angeles Underground House and Garage Sessions. It's like 10, 15 people in there. And I'm like, dude, I got to have you on my channel. He's like, okay, I'll play whenever. He has 160,000 vinyl records. He never stopped collecting. Like the kid with a comic book fetish. It's like, that maybe may not be the right word to use for it. He never stopped collecting, and every time he plays, it's incredible because every single song is fire. My other buddy, Paulo Dava of the San Francisco Bay Area, he was coming to me saying, hey, how do you get up and running with streaming? And I'm like, hey, I'll help you. And then we linked up. We did a couple virtual parties on the Steve Madera channel. He's now part of Dep City Underground. He is from the San Francisco Bay Area, part of Soul Camp, and the Houseman. Absolutely wonderful hearing him play. I'm so glad to call him and Jacob my friends right now. Like, they're just, friendships have been established because of Dep City Underground, and I'm very humbled by that because how many of us have real true friends? And these guys are great. There's a kid out of Sacramento named Adagio. Normally plays drum and bass. He had one or two people watching him once. We went and got him, and I tell you what, man, this guy is super humble. He plays very, very mellow house music, similar to the likeness of Louis Vega, and he's a valuable asset to Dep City Underground. Chris Thompson Taylor, a.k.a. Jazz All Night Long, out of New York. He's a Grammy Award-winning saxophone artist. In fact, he sent me a track that he's been working on with him playing the sax over it. I'll play it during one of my sessions. Super, super, super nice guy. We have Rudy C., a.k.a. Soul Rebel, for those who know Los Angeles. They're an established party out of L.A. for many, many years now. He's on Wednesday nights. I got a couple more here. We good? We good?
Yeah, we're going to go ahead to crew and we'll wrap up with that final question. No, you are fine.
DJ Tony Stone out of Baltimore. I'm sorry, not Baltimore. Out of Atlanta. And I found him because as I was going through Twitch one night, I actually saw him. My mind blown. I'm like, oh my god! As soon as we turned him on, we're like, not only is playing house music, he was playing my second last release on Solstice Music called A Soulful Feeling. I was like, dude, this dude picked up my track. I don't even know who he is. Let's talk to him. We start talking to him. We get him to play. He's dope. He's a true professional in what he does. You can catch him every other Thursday on our channel. DJ Knuckles, met him on Sounds Radio. Absolute fire. I think he plays with pyrotechnics or something in the spare time because every track he plays is fire. He gets it. He understands it. I love him like a brother. Darwin Flores out of Los Angeles, House of Vibes, Los Angeles. Nadia Juarez out of Sacramento. And she was an up-and-coming DJ recommended from Paulo. He says, hey, this girl, she's learning. Want to give her a shot? Oh, my God. She plays Latin house and Afro house, and it's incredible what she's able to do with the music. And her microphone etiquette is absolutely lovely, too. We never, ever, ever make our viewers feel unrecognized. If somebody says hi, we're always, hey, how you doing? Welcome to our family. Stuart Pilling and Sorgasmic, both out of the UK. Stuart Pilling is one of the higher-ups with the Love to Be Records. And their conjunction with Trimtone out of the UK is absolutely mind-boggling because every week it's making within the top 100 on TrackSource. What a great guy. They're flying in for a party we're throwing in March here in Arizona. We're throwing a virtual event in March. I'm going to plug it. March 26th, no cover, no dress code. If you can get to Arizona, this is the place to be. We have a massive lineup of DJs, everyone I just mentioned. Three more. Big Ken out of Arizona. That's who knows Dewey B.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know Ken? Do you know
Yeah.
Ken White?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're doing a party in 2 weeks. I'm at their party. It's called AZ Music in the Park. I'm glad I met that dude. He's humbled. I even reached out to him because I saw him playing some live, I think it was a Mixcloud mix in the Arizona house music group. And I said, dude, where are you from? Let's link up. And we hooked up, and super cool dude. He's come over here a couple times, and I'm so glad to know him. Adam Dos Santos out of Houston. Turns out he's very big in the scene. These are all names you guys have probably never heard of, which is incredible to me because I never heard of them either, but they're all well established. Adam runs a club in Houston called Bar House. He's part of it. He's getting booked there. He's booked Donald Glod and DJ Dan, like different style of music. But we saw him playing Soulful House one night with one viewer, and we start talking. We're like, hey, do you mind if we raid you? He's like, yeah. We raid him. We brought like 30, 40 people there, and he got so giddy. He's like, dude, this is so awesome to see you guys here for my music, because normally I'm streaming when I'm out fishing. Like, he'll be out fishing, and he'll stream it, and he's happy to have like people talk to him about fish. Super dope DJ. Stream game is strong. I appreciate him. And finally, my man Herbie Love out of Baltimore, Maryland, another new DJ. And can I say something about the new DJs? Do I have time?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
This is an important thing to hone in on. All you new DJs out there and all you listening, if you ever doubt what equipment you're working on or how you're doing it, stop it. If somebody says, if you use the sync button, you're not real, first of all, let it be clear. I'm not using it, but I've been doing this since 1992. I have seen DJs using the sync button who are creating fire sets. I don't go to my favorite restaurant and say, hey man, how'd you cook this food? I don't care. I know it's delicious. I don't care how they got it there. I don't want to know how they got it there. I know it's delicious. So if the product you're putting out, whether or not you are syncing, whether now if you're up there and there's nothing plugged in and you're doing this, I have a problem with that. Okay, but if you're genuinely creating an art and your programming and song selection is strong and you're using a tool that Pioneer and Denon and Newmark and all these other companies have put hundreds of thousands of dollars in R&D to implement as a tool in your tool bag, use it. Don't let people discourage you. If somebody says, hey, you don't play vinyl, you're not real, say, I beg to differ. This is what I create. Like think about the food analogy.
Absolutely.
If with software, I'm looking at mine right now. The software on this XDJ RX2 is Rekordbox. Not to be confused with Serato. Just different products, same thing. Some people can curate their sets before, pre-plan. Pre-plan away. I don't care. If the product you have is quality, that's what I care about. Don't let people tell you otherwise. It doesn't matter. It'll just discourage you. It's so important that you guys know this.
Guys, hey, like I said, today's been a master class. Steve's just dropped so many nuggets on how to go about this thing called DJing house music. Where do you see this thing going, Steve?
That's a great question. Um, regard on a personal level, I hope Depths of the Underground is here to stay. We know it will, fade out a little bit as people start getting in real life gigs. But everyone out there listening, remember, if you're aiming so high, I want to be the one playing in the club and you can't get there, use the internet to your advantage. Share your art for the world to see. Even if you have just one person, that's one more than you had before you hit stream, right? Before you hit the stream button, you had no viewers. Now you have one. Be happy with that. Stop chasing the nightclub because, as I said in the beginning, so many of them, we know this in the industry, it's clicky. And if I'm wrong, stop me, let me know. Tell me I'm wrong. It's clicky. Same DJs, same clubs, every week, same product. It's a clicky thing. And unless you get into that network, forget it. I don't mean to discourage you. I mean to tell you exactly what it is so you don't set yourself up for failure 100 times. With the online streaming, keep going and let it grow organically, please. We at Depths of the Underground never ask for likes or follows. I think it's taboo. If I turn on a video on YouTube regarding a vacation in Mexico, I'm interested in the vacation in Mexico, but within the first 30 seconds, it says, hey, don't forget to click the like button, subscribe, follow, blah, 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 my channel. Like, dude, no, I don't want to hear that. If I like it, I will do it naturally. Don't tell me. That's like the burrito example. If I say, hey, Derek, you will like this burrito, huh? You will like it. Dude, who the hell says that? Nobody says that. They say, hey, I suggest a burrito. You might like it. Then you eat it and you're like, this is good. I'm going to get another burrito. It's not rocket science.
Right.
That's what I truly believe. That's where I think it's going. I think online streaming is here to stay. I think for the right reasons it's here to stay. I think there are going to be some wrong reasons that, cloud it up for the rest of us. But I think it offers the opportunity for those wanting to express their art to get there and be great at marketing, guys. Be great at letting your brand be known. Just do you. Just be yourself. Don't be someone else. You can be influenced. I guarantee, I promise you guys, I'm betting on you guys. Those of you starting out, hit me up too, or hit up, the channel and let them know, that you're interested in keeping us updated on your progress as an upcoming DJ. If you start something organic and you stay with it and stick with it and don't lose your focus, it's going to be great. It's going to be absolutely wonderful. It may not be stardom. If you want stardom, go be a movie actor, work out like The Rock, and do crazy movies. That's where the stardom is. Don't do house music. There's not a ton of money in it. We all know that. Or if you want to be a big time producer, produce hip hop or something, but follow your heart and passion. I am not here for the money. I'm not here for the recognition. As I said in the beginning, I am here because weekly and sometimes bi weekly or in the middle of the week, whatever, this music allows me to recharge, regenerate my soul, and refresh myself because I don't have the opportunity to go hear my influences play in real life since the pandemic. Like I used to go hear David Harness every week. And every week I'd say, okay, I got my recharge. I'm good for the week. Then next week I go see him again. Okay, I got my recharge. That's what I'm about. So if you're about that too, this can be very, very positive for you. And again, guys, forgive me for rambling. It's just very exciting to express this passion when I'm already expressing it through the music.
That is it. And Steve Madera has said it all. Folks, thank you guys so much for joining us on House Culture Conversations. This has been amazing. We're going to see you next time. Peace.
Thank you again.